Hi there, and welcome to the Monday edition of the Lall Show right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. My name is Joshua Van Sleckman. I'll be your moderator for this evening. I'm so happy that you can join us. Let me remind you that the Lall Show comes to radio every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 19 hours 20 right here on Kaieteur Radio. This evening, as promised last week, will be very short with our presentation because we really want to hear from you. We want to hear what is the feedback out there, so you will be able to call us this evening after Mr. Lall gives his very brief presentation. And let me remind you of that telephone number is quickly 226-7453 and 226-7454, or you can call us or WhatsApp us on 622-2222. That's WhatsApp call only. So without further ado, I now hand you over to the publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lall, as he makes his presentation. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening to you, Josh, and good evening to all you guys here. Good evening to all my listeners in and around Guyana. I want to tell you thanks for listening. Tonight, I'll be touching on the bleeding of Guyana's wealth, how it continues, how we're giving away billions upon billions and collecting in the thousands. I told you guys Friday that I was going to Canada. I have canceled that flight. I am going to Japan. I hear them would do a better job to change my color and features. When them done with you, you just come back looking like a Japanese with a smaller eyes and bigger brain, because I will need more brains to tackle this confounded nonsense going on in this land with our leaders, all of them, and our resources. The spotlight tonight is shining on another foreign company, a company called Troy Resources. This company came all the way out of Australia. The Chinese, the Canadians, the Americans, the Indians, the Russians, and now the Australians. Man, this is a free-for-all and a circus. You guys know where there's a circus, it never out of people. People show up all hour in the day, all hour in the night. Before I get to tonight's topic, brothers and sisters, I want to recognize someone in this country, a Guyanese by birth, who I think all Guyana owes a huge debt for her contribution that she has been making in this country from the beginning of this oil sector. Myself and staff of this newspaper have learned tremendously from her experience and knowledge of this oil industry. She has single-handedly done what all the leaders in this country are afraid to do. She has seen the advantage that ExxonMobil did to us with those environmental permits for projects in the Stabroek block. After going through the permits, she found that the time frame on the life of permits was against the laws of our country. Our law spells out very clearly that no permit should exceed 5 years. But our leaders give ExxonMobil 20 years. This lady took that matter before our courts and won. Our judge ruled that the time frame of 20 years must be revoked and replaced with what the laws of Guyana mandates, which is 5 years. It's like a driver's license, valid for only 5 years. Them give ExxonMobil 20 years license. What that means to us, brothers and sisters, some of you may want to ask that question. 5 years, Exxon has to come back to us for renewals of those permits. And we have the keys to hold them accountable and ask for better terms when reviewing the permits. We can get them to put more safeguards in place to make sure we don't get screwed further. We can use that renewal to wring their hands for our people to get them to put in place like full cover insurance and so on. We can use that leverage to do that. That's the reason they want a long-term permit, so they don't have to run back every 5 years to Guyana. Last week again, she and another local lawyer named Bert Smith filed a case in the High Court seeking a declaration that ExxonMobil's projects are harmful and thus violate the rights of every man, woman, and child in this country. The right to a clean and healthy environment. So far, ExxonMobil has burnt over 14 billion cubic feet of gas, and in so doing, polluted our airspace with poisonous chemicals that can lead to sickness in this land. The court action is being led by this great woman, Melinda Janke. I think we all owe this fine Guyanese citizen a huge thank you. She left this country since she was 7 years old, lived, studied, and worked all her life in England, and has returned and settled here in her homeland, fighting for all of us. She's a brilliant lawyer and a very passionate advocate for protecting the environment. And I want to tell her, on behalf of all of us here at Kaieteur News, a huge thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I know some of you would also like to express the same sentiments. So, my dear Melinda, on behalf of all the Guyanese people, a big, big thank you. Please continue to fight with us. Help us. We need your wisdom and experience to tackle this lopsided contract that Exxon threw on us, so that our brothers and sisters in this land can have a better and good life. Thanks once again. And here I get going with my topic. Troy Resources, a foreign company called Azimuth Resources, been here working in our back dam for years now. In 2010, them hire an Australian company for do surveys for them. That company, what did the surveys was Troy Resources. Them ended up taking over the company and the whole operations, and them say how them going to do underground mining in the earth, what Guyanese can't do, and how Guyana going to become rich. They were giving a vast amount of wealth. Them get more land than Aurora Gold Mines, the Chinese company I talked about, only on Friday. Troy Resources get 1,100 square kilometers, which is 688 square miles. Guys, that is 38 times the size of Wakenham Island and 49 times the size of Leguan. 76 times the size of Georgetown and 137 times the size of New Amsterdam and about 3 times the size of Essequibo Coast. Or let picture from Georgetown to Parika is about 20 miles. To Timeri is 26 miles. That is 520 square miles. Picture that in your mind, and they get more than that. Or let's do Georgetown to Rosignol, which is 65 miles long by 10 miles, which is halfway from Georgetown to Timeri Airport. That is the size of land our leaders give away to Troy Resources at $1,000 Guyana per acre. You hear the size? 10 miles halfway to Timeri until to Rosignol. That's the square miles them got in their possession from our leaders.
That's the size of some Caribbean islands.
That bigger than many Caribbean islands. Yeah, but by far.
Maybe like
But
Taiwan.
by maybe 15, 20 times of one of the Caribbean islands.
For
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah, an acre. I am not certain if they're paying that.
Oh, God.
Right? I am not certain of paying that. Listen to me carefully. In 2019 and 2020, they pay less than $1 million US. That is what is reflected as their lease or payment in their annual report. Not me saying so. In their annual report. But that is for 3 countries, Brazil, Guyana, and Argentina. So we don't know what Guyana get out of that million. They've been here 9 years now. And they said a few days ago how they're mining pits. They're working, running out of gold. Them said they want more lands. Man, you have to listen to this next piece. What them say. Listen to me carefully. Them put out a big statement a few days ago and said them have to cease operation because the gold running out from that area they work in and how they want more gold lands. My gosh. Father, you're alive and you're there. Them said the underground mining has been further delayed. You hear that? The underground mining was further delayed. The huge underground digging further delayed. Wow. What is happening in this land with our wealth? Yeah, guys, what's going on in this land? Father, you got to help us. The people of this country needs you more than ever now. Yes. From the beginning in 2013, them say, them come in Guyana for do underground mining. The gold done and underground mining in start yet. Are you understand what I'm saying, man? Huh? And now them got the nerve to tell us in 2021 that them still looking for money to do the underground mining and want more land. Are you following me, man?
Unbelievable.
Huh? 9 years after, them still looking for money to do what them come here to do in the first place. What a Guyana this is.
Beautiful, Guyana.
This is beautiful Guyana. What leaders we got here, man? Huh?
That don't care. That don't care.
I need help in this country, guys.
We have.
Them want more land to continue raping Guyana. Raping even our unborn children. Here what I tell them shareholders 1 week ago. How we, government, the Guyana government, very supportive of their projects here. Yes, them tell their supporters that. Troy Resources tell their shareholders in their monthly updates how them don't have to worry. Money will continue to flow in their pockets from the land of many waters called Guyana. Yes, is we gold and we diamonds will be flowing into their foreign bank accounts when they get the more lands from our leaders. Are you picture what's happening in this land?
They done some sort of you don't get you with it.
Yes. Them done did surveys and suss out other place and find out that gold and diamond is there. He there down there. So them now only waiting on the approval from our government with the necessary duty-free and tax-free concessions again. Yes. People, it documented in their monthly report. You could go online and see it. TroyResources.com. Go and check it for yourself. In 2017, Troy Resources declared 70,000 ounces. And in 2018, 58,000 ounces. So far, 2 years alone, them declare 128,000 ounces. This is over 200 million American dollars. And I only check it at $1,500 an ounce for gold. Plus, brothers and sisters, them get 13 million US dollar in duty free and concessions. Hear that? Which takes it to 213 million American dollars of gold and concessions from Guyana. You hear that? 213 million American dollars in concessions and gold from Guyana in that 2 year alone. And Guyana, hear this one. Hear what Guyana get. Between 2016 and 2018, we get 85,000 US dollars. We get 85,000 US dollars out of 213 million American dollars these people get out of Guyana, which is 17 million Guyana dollars, brothers and sisters. Are you really understand what these people doing in this land?
That's ridiculous.
What can't even buy the GRA boss a proper vehicle with that money? Man, or the commissioner of police a proper vehicle,
And this road they call it now.
or the GGMC, or the Guyana Gold Board boss a proper vehicle.
No.
Over 2 years.
Man, I feel like stop talk right now.
Not even 2 months.
You gotta bring the pressure pill up in here. No?
Hmm?
You gotta bring the pressure pill up in here.
Man, are you gotta be joking in this land?
Beyond joking, chap.
Leaders, are you gotta be joking in this land?
Beyond joking.
Hear what I do in 2019. The next year after 2018, they had a horrible accident in which one of the young Guyanese geologists lose his life. And the coalition suspend their operation to investigate the place. Them tell the workers they can't work. So they knock off over 400 people and declare nothing. Not a single cent for 2019.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Eventually, they were given permission to roll again, to dig again. Hear how much them getting a month now. According to them figures, not Glenn Lall saying this, 2,200 ounces of gold per month. And telling us gold running out in the area. Awamulan. This is Guyana. This is beautiful Guyana. Listen carefully. What GRA website say. Again, this is not Glenn Lall. GRA website say Troy Resources was given from 2016 to now billions in tax breaks.
Wow.
And duty-free this and duty-free that. For the fuel alone, hear this one, James. Hear this one. For the last 5 years, they were given 22 million American dollars through fuel alone.
Wow.
That is 4.5 million American dollars a year. That is what a local man, had he had such a business, would have had to pay
Correct is right.
for carry out such an operation. But if foreigners can come here and do the same thing what a local man doing, and can get a great, and can get every cent support from our leaders. And we, brothers and sisters, can't even get a pickup duty free.
Wow.
A 4-door pickup duty free.
That is so true.
Instead, these foreigners getting the machinery, the equipment with trucks, excavators, bulldozers, vehicles, and every single thing duty free. Plus your massive gold land. 13 million US dollar in tax breaks is what they got. That is on top of the 22 million in fuel. You hear that? If you add the two, you get 35 million American dollars in just them two things alone. How much Guyana received from Troy Resources? $85,000. 85,000 US dollar we get out of 35 million American dollars we give these people. Guys, I repeat that figure for it to stick in your heads, because here what a company report to their shareholders through their website, how them pay Guyana 34.4 million US. This is what them website saying. We don't, listen to me carefully, we don't know, Glenn Lall don't know which one is correct. whether the GRA figures or Troy Resources figures. But neither here nor there. If Guyana give them 35 million in tax breaks and fuel, and Guyana receive 34, that is what they must say, right? Then what business is this? You give away 35, and according to them pay 34.4, right? What business is this? Right?
That.
But that is not listed on the GRA website. $85,000 is listed there. So what kind of business we running in this land?
I know what you're looking at.
This is what you call business, man. This is not rape. Y'all got to find another word to describe what's going on in this land,
Yes.
Guyanese. Brothers and sisters, please. You give a man 35 million American dollars in fuel and taxes alone, and in return, Stacia is saying 85,000, but them companies said they pay 34 million. Huh? And our leaders are happy with this thing?
Yeah.
Our leaders continuing this type of business?
As you said, Glenn.
Huh? Father, please, Glen Lall needs help. And the nation needs your hand in this time of need. Father, your children is starving.
Yep.
And I can see you're the only one who could save them. Because our president, Irfan Ali, can't help us. Mr. Granger can't help us. Neither Jagdev or Harmon, Trotman or Robert Prasad. They can't help us. You need to put your hands on Guyana. Save us from these hyenas on Guyana. Save us from these hyenas and scavengers in this country. Please. Anybody ever see a movie? Lion King? Huh?
Yep.
What them children does look at? Look and see what the hyenas did to the Pride land. Them just eat everything out
Destroy it.
and just leave the bones.
Yep.
Guys, that is what is going on in this land. By all these foreigners with our wealth, our gold, our diamond, our bauxite, our timber, now our oil. Guys, what went on in Africa for years has been happening here. Many people spoke out in Africa. I spoke about the African ambassador to Washington, D.C. She said the foreigners, them, just fly over your country very low and map out and find out and suss all where your gold and diamonds are. And then come in and fetch it away. This is exactly what our leaders have been condoning by hiding all these contracts from the nation, from all of us. I am exposing, I am speaking loud and very clear about this, and I want to hear what y'all will do about it. I want to know if any one of y'all want Guyana to become like Africa, where you will left to live with 300 Guyana dollar to live with on a daily basis after your wealth would have disappeared. I will continue to reveal more damning things in y'all ears. Not next week, tonight. So please keep your eye open and don't sleep away on me, man. I will take your calls just now. Hear this. We give away 13 million plus 22 million to Troy Resources and receive 85,000 US dollar in 2 years. I tell y'all, crime will increase.
Yes.
Crime will get out of hand because the resources of this country is not going into their pockets or into their homes, in your children lunch kits or into your salaries. It's going away by the shiploads and plane loads and in the pockets of the foreign entities, just like what they all did to Africa. Mark my words. Today, the US ambassador put out a statement saying the embassy reminds American citizens that Georgetown is rated critical for crime. You hear that? Critical for crime. According to the US State Security and Environmental Threat List. Them say a woman who was visiting the embassy this morning was attempting to park her vehicle at the visitors' parking spot directly across from the embassy, when bandits traveling on motorcycles robbed her of her belongings in the car. Guys, right next door is the Commissioner of Police Office. This is Guyana. I must let you know, though. You see the American warning their citizens? Guyanese lives doesn't matter. Have you heard anything from our leaders?
Nothing.
Yes. Take note. Take note and take heed. When people can't get to feed their children with their own resources that is going out by the boatloads and plane loads, mark my words. Mark my words. Let me turn, brothers and sisters, to Aurora Gold Mines. I spoke about Troy Resources. Let me touch back. You guys remember, I spoke a lot about them and the contract last week Friday. The Chinese are here now. And let me repeat, them pay the Canadians $238 million US dollar last year. Guyana get nothing from that. But they also get all the sweetheart giveaways that our leaders give to that Canadian company. You hear that?
Yeah.
Follow me carefully, I'm going slowly. They pay the Canadians, they walk away, and they get all the operation, the entire operation, with the sweetheart deals that was issued to the Canadian company.
Yes, nothing.
Them paying, I said, the same $1,000 per acre per year for our richly gold lands. And the Honorable Sam Hines, I hope he called tonight. I didn't see write any other letter over the weekend. And Robert Passad, them proud of that and defending that. I talked about how they got duty-free fuel Friday, but I didn't say how much. Let me tell you tonight, according to a source within their operation, them getting over $26 million liters of diesel in 2020 alone. You hear me that?
Yeah.
Prior to that, the Canadian company used to get 20 million plus liters a year too. Oh my, oh no. Guys, when you do the maths, at 25% off on 26 million liters of diesel, this new Chinese company saves $6 million American dollars a year. That is on fuel alone. Are you getting what I'm saying, man?
Yes.
Them saving in their pocket $6 million American dollars a year. Remember I said to you guys, they brought in 30-something trucks a couple of weeks ago, plus duty-free 4x4 pickups. Guys, brothers and sisters, no Guyanese can get duty-free fuel, tax waivers on their equipment, them and their machinery, including duty-free vehicles. Guyanese not entitled to that. Nothing they're entitled to. Not even a 4-door pickup. These leaders will not give to a local miners in this country in 5 years. These people come overnight and I get everything. I am told them done bring 13 pickups for their company in less than 1 year. And our local miners can't even see the back wheel as duty free. Are you see what's going on in this country?
So much so no.
Are you understand what's going on in this country? Kaieteur News reported in March 2019 that Aurora Gold Mine got 50 million US dollar in tax waivers. You don't hear me, man. Let me repeat again, man. We reported in 2019 this company get 50 million US in tax waivers plus fuel in the past years is another 30 million American dollars. Add the two, you get 80 million American dollars we give away. We country give away that those people save. And what Guyana get? What Guyana get? This is what Mr. Irfan Ali and your leaders call investment and development.
So what?
This is how we going to turn Dubai overnight.
Yeah.
Y'all going to turn Dubai before the day is out. You ain't going to catch the night. Trust me on that, Guyanese.
Right.
Yeah. See how all these contracts are locked down in secret steel doors and safes. You see? We have never seen, listen to me carefully, brothers and sisters, we have never seen any contract that the PPP government signed in the last 20-something years they've been in office. Every contract them sign, them put in confidentiality clause. They have a man named Winston Brasington sign many of them. He is a king for confidentiality clause with these people, with our people, me and you, of this country's business. And he got the nerve to sue this company 19 times. That story I want to tell you, but I'm still waiting in the courts because I have to pay him 30-something million dollars. Because my lawyer did not file the appeal. They filed a garnishment letter on the company and took out all the money in the account. I'm going to tell you that story. Sometime I'm waiting on my lawyers to tell you all that story. God bless you, boy. And I mean it from my heart, too. God bless you. Guyana. Ask them why. Ask them why they're hiding these contracts. What do they have to hide in it? What kind of dirty business going on? This is the people's wealth y'all dealing with, bro. You see why I tell y'all? One single thing I'm proud of with Mr. David Granger, that he released these oil contracts. Generations would die out and never have seen that Exxon contract with the rest of politicians, especially under the leadership of these guys now. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. David Granger. And God bless you for that. I really mean that from my heart. Thank you. And thank you again. So that we, myself, the newspapers, and Guyana could have seen what's taking place in that contract. Hadn't you released that contract, sir? We carried a story today about decommissioning. It's a big fancy word. I'm going to tell you a little about it Wednesday. Let me don't bring that and confuse you. Decommissioning is a big word, fancy word. But it has a deadly trap for us. I'm going to explain Wednesday to y'all. It's in today's paper. Who can read and understand, go ahead. Go online and read it too, if you can't afford to buy the newspaper. But let me continue this Aurora. Hear how we just monitor we gold and diamond in this country. Hear how our leaders, our state agencies, and our financial gurus does monitor we gold and we diamond. The same way how we monitor we oil out there.
Not a clue.
Not a clue, and no one looking out for our interests out there.
Not a clue.
We just taking Exxon figures. It's just like this, we taking the gold and the diamond figures from Troy Resources and Aurora Resources and all the rest of them. Hear how Guyana run business. The Guyana Gold Board does only check on these foreign companies when them people ready for ship out we gold and we diamond. Them just carrying, them just got carrying the GRA people, the police and canoe on their site for where the gold and seal the gold. For see how much royalty is due to Guyana with what they're sealing. Nothing else. That's the only time them going. Gold Board are ready to ship out your gold.
Wow.
Well, Guyana Gold Board go running. They are carrying the police, carry canoe, and just seal the cat and say, all right, you carrying out so much, go along with it. Nobody checks.
No verification.
Nobody monitors. No verification. Nobody rechecks to see what is being paid to us. Hear that? Hear this part. I am told by several of the agencies that these foreign companies' business and their activities is being handled by the office of the president and them only. Are you understand what's going on here?
Chocolates in brown bag.
Man, I never know.
Chocolates in brown bag.
I never know brown paper bag
Chocolates.
does go there too.
Chocolates.
I only know it has got to the ministry with chocolates inside.
It's chocolates, it's all chocolates.
Huh?
It's a new treat.
Can you believe this?
Sad.
The agencies can't tell these people nothing. They are silent and secret.
So then we got it for rubber stamps.
No, they're just carrying out the orders from the office of the president. You see why these contracts are so secret? I don't believe the agencies, because I've been trying to ask. I asked GMC, I asked the Gold Board, I asked GRA, I asked so many people, and them said I never see the contract. So now, I am beginning to think that the contract locked down after the president. In some kind of special steel safe. Maybe they bring the safe from Israel.
Secret place.
Mhm.
Secret place.
Starters, we should don't figure
Yes.
this contract can benefit the people, because guess what? If the benefiters don't want to reveal the contract. That's it, point blank. Don't even leave it around the bush.
Guys, I am amazed,
We have to find words.
but not defeated. The fight will go on. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. I have a dream. Glenn Lall also have a dream. And changes will come. Changes have to come. Changes must come for the betterment of the people in this country. Or you can't continue running this country this way. Or you cannot continue running this country this way. I have been talking about the interest rate Guyana paying for 20 billion American dollars loan we have out there, and all Jackman gone quiet. Quiet. I did tell y'all, we paying more than we budget money for 2021 on interest rate alone. And we leaders, all of them have been dodging that question and can't come clean, can't be clear with this nation until now. I'm going to play a video. I want you to hear for your own ears what our vice president said in that last press conference he had for the last 8 months them in power. Could you play that tape for me, please?
I gather Kaieteur keeps asking about interest rates and stuff like that all the time, and with a ranting all the time about what interest rate. And so far, the interest rate might be crucial, but so far there has been no demand from Exxon to recover interest rate on the project through cost, from cost recovery.
And I had another question about.
Guys, you heard him yourself. You heard Mr. Jagdev's voice, words himself. Let me repeat, just in case you didn't hear him clearly. He said, I gather Kaieteur News keep asking about this interest rate and stuff like that all the time. With the ranting all the time. We ranting all the time. So far, the interest rate might be crucial. Hear that? The interest rate might be crucial. But so far, there has been no demand from Exxon to recover interest rate on the project from cost recovery.
Nonsense.
Yes. Are you hearing? My own ears are you hearing? Glenn Lall said that Friday. Glenn Lall said that Friday. So I played it for you guys to hear. Mr. Jagdev, please listen carefully. You have been the leader of this land for 12 years. You have been the financial guru of this country. you have come back as vice president of this country. Okay? And this country don't want to hear about no demand for interest rate from ExxonMobil. This country wants to know what interest rate we are paying. Every citizen go to the bank to buy a house or a car. They don't want to know if the bank demanding interest rate. They know the bank will take out them interest. They would want to know how much interest rate they're paying on the loan. Unless you get the money free. This is the question, Mr. Jagdeo. The people of this country needs to know the interest rate we are paying. And if ExxonMobil giving us free, then tell us that we're getting it free. One out of the two. ExxonMobil must be Guyana Mumardari for give you 20 billion loan interest free. Guyana, y'all see the con game this man Jagdeo playing with y'all future? Huh? You heard this financial guru with your own ears. It's not Glenn Lall said those words. Listen to what Mr. Joseph Harmon, our opposition leader, had to say. I retexted him on Saturday again and pleaded with him to fulfill his promise as to the percentage Guyana is paying on that 20 billion Liza 1, 2, and 3 project. He responded and said, and I quote him, "This is my promise, and I demand it." This is my promise, and I demand it. I don't know what that means. Can somebody tell me what that means? Because I didn't understand Jagdeo too. Can anyone give me an answer? This is my promise, and I demand it. So I then asked him, demand it from who? I told him to ask Winston Jordan, because part of the Liza projects was signed under Winston Jordan under the coalition government. From Saturday to now, I didn't get a response. I have decided to text Mr. Kemraj Ramjatan from the AFC earlier today. He did not respond, but I'll give him some time. I should have texted him since last week. I will keep updating all of you, Guyana, as to their responses, if and when I get it. Guys, we find ourselves in trouble here. Once them hiding and ducking that from you and me, Guyana is in trouble. Prepare for salt with no increase in your salary and no biscuits in your children lunch kits. On Saturday gone, President Irfan Ali and Vice President Jagdeo had a conference with the diaspora. During that conference, they invited more foreigners to come here to invest and develop this beautiful country called Guyana. Can I take some calls? Can I take some calls? I was a bit too long, right? But I couldn't help it, Guyana. Brothers and sisters, I just couldn't help it.
All right, that telephone number for you to call this evening is
I couldn't
226-7453
help it.
and 226-7454. I guess while
Guyana, get in.
while we're waiting for the calls, I have a message, a question here that I want to pose to you from our listeners, or listener rather. He said, Mr. Lall, would you encourage your brother and sister to work with these companies in the background?
Oh, no. Oh, period. Hell no. Hell no. If I had a brother or cousin, a matter of fact, I will find out if I have any family working with Aurora Gold Mine and Troy Resources there, and tell them to get out. Because having them there, all right, is like they are helping these companies to rape us,
Yeah.
throwing a few pennies in our hands. We all should get out. And if you have families there working, tell them to get out. Get out. How can you allow a relative or your family working for crumbs there while these people raking out, raping the entire Guyana?
Correct.
That's like a crime.
Yeah.
That's a criminal offense in my mind to have my brother working there for peanuts, helping to pack up, helping to dig up, and to rake this country out. No, hell no. No. No, I don't want none. A matter of fact, I'll find out if I have anybody working there and tell them to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah? It is unthinkable, man. And our leaders think that giving jobs is the best thing out.
Yeah.
I have said it many times. All our leaders know, hey, it's not much brothers and sisters will get job there. You know? Everything, it's only jobs fixed.
That's the first thing comes out their mouth, yeah.
This is their mentality. This is how small-minded and unintelligent they are.
Correct.
They're running a cake shop business for a country. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
A taxi, a hire car they're running it.
You have a call on the line? Caller,
Take
good
the
evening.
call.
Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show. Caller, you there?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you.
sir.
Let me turn on this radio. Mr. Lall, good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
I heard you earlier talking about the gold lands that they're pilfering our gold from and sending up to Canada and stuff. And you jerked my brain into remembering back in the day before 2015. I don't know if I'm going to jerk your brain now. That there was a certain man who went to GGMC, took some maps that were already surveyed to the Canadians and was selling the Canadians this land all in the jungle and claiming that these are new surveyed maps and selling out the mountains of forests and golds to the Canadians. This thieving didn't start now, right? It's since then. The same man is the man who owned the piece of land at the side of the Chinese embassy. The same man who is shipping out dolphins, fins.
1 second.
The same man who named Odinga Labumba.
1 second.
I know if I could jerk your brain a little bit.
No. You avoid calling people name, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want no lawsuit.
Okay. Oh.
You gotta
good.
careful. You gotta do. I ain't able for them come shut you down, bro.
Yes.
I understand what you're saying. By Shanlin, the PPP has given by Shanlin a quarter of Guyana at the bottom of Guyana. They gave them billions of acres.
1.5
And 1.5? I don't remember the exact hectare. They didn't get in the acres, they get in hectares. 1 point something billion hectares. And when the coalition came to power, I think Mr. David Granger, give him kudos again. Revert all back.
Yes.
Right? So you got to give David two kudos.
Yes,
because he
I
did
agree.
come in.
I
But
agree.
I think many things they did, they outsmart the man. Right?
Well, just so for the sake of some people
But the
listening.
giving away of our land has been going on all the time.
Yes, for the
Right?
sake of some people listening and
It
don't
went
understand.
it went on under the coalition government too. And I think if you ask me, I don't think Mr. Granger know about it too. It went on because the Aurora, the Troy Resources contract was signed under Trotman's leadership. Right?
Yep.
in which they grab up the entire concessions from the Canadian company. You know? And what Guyana get? Nothing.
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 Just for the sake of some listeners, with
My
the
friend-
size of the
my
land
friend-
that was given away,
My friend,
Leg
yeah.
1 is bigger than any Caribbean island except Jamaica. So we could understand if they give away 3 or 4 times Leg 1,
Yeah.
what they doing?
138 times leg 1.
See?
Is what you saying, man?
I know.
Huh?
Leg 1 bigger than Barbados, Antigua, all of them except Jamaica.
Let me repeat, man. The man that the land Troy Resources get is from the seawall where Pegasus there, halfway to Timeri, which is 10 miles. Straight down to Rosignal. You hear that, land? And a little more too.
Mr. Lall, we need to do something about this thing and
Thank
stop
you.
it.
Thank you.
Stop this thing going on. We need a new party, a new government altogether.
Thank you. No. We don't need no new government. We need them to change. I need them to change. And let's pray and hope they change.
But-
If not, we will continue to speak. You know, Joseph Harmon, I saw somewhere he went and spoke to somebody online or some one-on-one. He spoke about how the PPP government not holding parliament. So when I glanced through it, I wanted to ask him, holding parliament to talk what? Huh? You guys not holding press conference to talk to the nation as to what you want. You're running and ducking and hiding. Somebody running up an online radio station to talk. You know what I plan to do next week? Set up 2 online radio stations. Right? So and then I'll want to see if they can come there to then now.
But they're all in the take. They ain't going to be competing with the PVP for nothing. They on the take too.
No, but we got. I don't entertain them kind of news items. You know why? Because they're doing these things to distract you people. You know, and that is what these foreign companies want us to fight among. They fight among the PPP and fight among the PNC and fight among the AFC. Yes, I hear cost down each other. You know, holding parliament, and you know on this, and you know you've been in there 2 years, and you know you didn't hold no part, and this is what, man, we should not even be wasting our time here. You have any other question?
No, sir.
But that's
Have a
what
good
they
night.
want us. That's where they want to keep our minds and our brains. And our people are so damn caught up with their political affiliation and agenda and race that they fail to see that their plate doesn't have anything in it. And the leaders doing nothing to safeguard and protect themselves now and future generations.
Keep the infighting while they run away with everything.
While we fighting, they're running away by the shiploads, man,
Yes.
and plane loads. Thanks.
You're welcome, Mr. Lall.
Thank you.
Caller, good evening. Oh, we lost that caller there. Mr. Lall, while we wait on the call, there's another question that came in, and they're asking, Mr. Lall, you're speaking about LISA 1, 2, and 3. Is LISA 4 coming too? They didn't answer the question in the first 3. Can you explain?
Oh my gosh. Lisa 1, 2, and 3 is 20 billion. What they're running and hiding. What costing we more than we budget money in interest alone. And you know what Lisa 4 coming? Lisa 4 is bigger than all 3. That's going to be the mother of all evil. You hear me? We ain't signed no contract yet. I'm waiting to hear the next word out of their mouth. That one, all Guyana should come out in the streets.
Yeah.
Every single dog and cat you should bring out too in the streets. If they only put their hand on that. Because that can be 3 times Guyana yearly budget. And we will continue to borrow 1/3 of we budget money to feed Guyana from banks and pay loans. Yes.
And,
Yes.
And we have another one before we take the call. Someone is saying here, Mr. Lall.
Take the calls too.
Okay. Well, let's take this one, then we
Take
will.
the calls. Once you have the
Caller-
message, once you have the questions here, that's fine.
Caller,
Take the call.
caller, good evening to you.
Well, not Mr. Lall. What we need is a massive protest. Don't tell me about COVID. I tell you again, COVID ain't real, and then we call it protest. And these people make the supporters a fool sin to tell them they're opening back to estate and give them work for cut cane. This is what they want to get the supporters paying. Cut in instead of aisle money. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Man, let me hold on, little man. We can get change.
Let me just
We can listen. Lall will touch their hearts. Lall alone will touch their hearts, and they will be forced to change. Because when you people understand, and you stand up there and watch them in the face, they can't tell you all no. Okay? So they will change, man. Don't worry. Have some faith, no, man. They will have to change.
call a good evening
You
to
can't
you.
bring out people in the street, you got COVID.
Call
You
it-
spread COVID, man.
Call a good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good
Good
evening to
evening.
you.
Yeah, good evening to the panel. Glenn,
Yes.
I want you to tell me, why is it your lawyer didn't file the injunction against Braxton for the money?
Against the
The lawsuit against.
lawsuit against me,
Why is it your lawyer didn't file the injunction?
file the appeal. The appeal.
File the appeal. Why you didn't file the appeal?
It was, tell you the truth, it was like my fault. I was so upset. About the judgment, right? It's not a.
But why is your fault? You would have indicated a day or two before if the hammer fall in your favor that you're filing appeal.
Oh yes. Hold. Okay. Hold. It's 19 lawsuits. All right. The one against Donald Ramatar, I appealed that one. And some of the lawsuit that Brassington got judgment on, my lawyers didn't file. But there are many more. I did file on some of them.
But why is it your lawyer didn't file? Why is it you didn't file against that?
Man, let me not get to that. You can't roll with that, man. It don't happen. It done gone. Where you want?
I would like the question of answer, man, because you know a lot of things, you know. But you're only whining, but you're feeding me with accurate information.
Man, if you lose a case and you don't file, you have to explain that. It means I want to pay the man some money.
Anyways, the
Come on, man. You gotta understand what's going on. If you made a mistake, you made a mistake.
The second one is going. The second question I want to ask you is that you mentioned about.
Call you there? No, we seem to lost that caller.
Call back, man. Call back and ask.
226-745.
Let me make it clear, man. If you and your lawyers between the two of you make a mistake, you really think I didn't want to appeal the matter? You really think I want to pay $34 million? Come on, man. Come better with a nice question, man. Yeah.
All right, let me just remind you that you can call us on WhatsApp as well. We have a call on the line.
Take
Caller,
it.
good evening to you.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes. Am I on Kaieteur Radio?
Yes,
Yes,
you
sir.
are.
I'd just like to say,
Go ahead.
yes, Mr. Lall, I would like to tell you thank you for what you're doing for the people of Guyana. It seems as though you have the weight of Guyana on your shoulders, and keep it up, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I told a president that many years ago, that Guyana doesn't rest on his shoulder. I believe it rests on my shoulder. I told him that once, one of the president. Yes, go ahead.
So we don't have any call. I think we can pose this
have a
question to you.
question
Yes, someone is saying, Mr. Lall, I'm a patriotic Guyanese, but sometimes I'm ashamed to call myself a Guyanese. But what I really want to get to you, we're preparing to celebrate our 55th independence anniversary on Wednesday. Are you proud at the state we are in right now?
Oh my gosh. Joshua, I really can't answer that question. I'm sorry to that individual. I can't answer that question. Am I proud? Proud of what? Proud of allowing people to drain this nation? My leaders are draining me. I just tell you I got paid $34 million. Yeah?
Yeah.
I just want a little time to pay it.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And I can be a proud Guyanese come Wednesday. Come on, man. This thing is unthinkable. But it's a beautiful question.
It is.
Right?
Caller, good evening to you. Oh, we lost that caller there. Caller, good evening to you. Hello?
I am proud of being a Guyanese.
Hello?
But we shouldn't be ashamed of anything. We're not the ones doing these nonsense. The only thing we can do is speak up and make sure that they don't keep doing it. But we don't have anything to be ashamed of. We're not the ones writing contracts, polluting the environment. The very little that Guyanese actually do don't negatively impact the environment. What do we do?
Caller, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you, sir.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good evening, Glenn. Good evening, team. How are you guys doing?
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
The government is giving away Aurora Gold Mines 50 million or 24 million or 22 million dollars on fuel, and the Guyanese people have to pay 200 Guyana dollars per liter of gasoline. What's the matter with the Guyanese people? Why are we paying 35% tax on something or 50% tax on our fuel?
35%.
Every single Guyanese who's working for a couple
35%.
who's working for a couple of thousand Guyana dollars a month. These companies are taking 200 million US dollars in our gold, and they are now paying taxes. They are paying 10% taxes.
No, hold. So hold, sir. Hold on the line. They are not paying taxes. 10% is what they are paying for the fuel. When Guyanese is paying 35% taxes on the fuel. If you driving your car and them drive their car, your car is 35% when them only pay 10%. So they are getting,
yes, sir, but
they are getting an advantage.
But I have a question.
They are getting an advantage.
Guyanese making?
Listen to me first.
Guyanese making 200 million. Are Guyanese making 200 million US dollars a year, sir? Are the average Guyanese making 200 million US dollars a year?
Guyana get the 200 million we give away, 213 million we give away. Guyana gets 185,000 US. We didn't even get 1
yes,
million.
sir, but I'm talking, they give it, yes, sir, but the government is giving duty-free fuel for a company that makes 200 million US dollars a year. The
And their
Guyanese
own
people are the Guyanese people who
Exactly.
are the Guyanese people who are paying this 30% tax. Are they making 200 million Guyana dollars a year, sir?
No, sir. No, sir.
So that's my question. How can our government give away duty-free fuel to a company that makes 200 million US dollars a year, and our fellow Guyanese citizens who are not even making, some of them don't making 200,000 Guyana dollars a year, much as 200 million Guyana dollars a year, how come they have to pay full duties on the fuel store to get us to our work, to go pick up our children, to go buy a grocery, for whatever?
That's a beautiful point.
What's the matter with Guyanese people, sir?
Sir, hold on the line.
Who deserve the duty-free more? The Guyanese people, sir, or the foreign company making 200 million US a month?
Well, not the citizens, because all you guys who drive a car or a minibus or a truck out there, remember the foreigners' tank, if the foreigners' tank is paying only 10%, while you paying 35% to fill your tank. You hear that? So who our leaders really love? They love the citizens of this country? Wow.
So, but when are the Guyanese people going to wake up, sir? When are the Guyanese people going to wake up? You talk to the Guyanese people, they say, "Bye, what we got Dubai? What we got Dubai?"
Well,
that's how Guyana start Dubai, sir. Guyana is already Dubai. Guyana is already Dubai, because when you ask them what you going to do, they say, when you tell them you got what they're going to do, they say, "What we got Dubai? What we got Dubai?" So Guyana is already Dubai.
Well, I used to hear the what we got Dubai, but I stopped hearing it because some people who used to tell me that thing, now they're not telling me that. Now they're saying, "Glenn, please continue to tell us more, bro." And it gives me the strength.
But Glenn, you have been doing more than enough. It's time for the Guyanese people to do something, sir.
In time to come, man. Depend on them. They go change.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, Glenn. Keep up the good work, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Let's hope the Guyanese will come to their senses very soon.
Thank you. I believe our president come from a good stock. I think his parents would have brought him up differently from some of our leaders, and then man is the president. So let's see what he will do. All right?
Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you go ahead, please? All right, we seem to lost that caller there. Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Hi, good evening, Mr.
Good
Lall.
evening to you.
Good evening.
Mr. Lall, and Mr. Lall, what you're doing for this country, you're doing very great. And let me tell you something. So all these educated things that you give to us, the coolie and black man supposed to stand up and represent you. Let me tear down them. We are brothers and sisters.
You gotta be careful with your language, brother. Careful with your language.
They are loving
You kick it
people.
up?
The Negro people them are loving people. Don't worry, people have said they are courageous, and we're supposed to live together, and nobody can trouble us.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mr. Lall.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. I hear you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm doing how much I can do, my brothers and sisters. And I'll continue to do it. Like I said, I refuse to go to Canada now. I'm going to Japan. But I got to fix a date to go to Japan. I go in there to come back with a little more brain to put up with this nonsense.
Caller, good evening to you. Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Good evening.
Good
This is
evening.
why you see people that keep talking about Fabs Bonham, because Bonham would never sign no stupid deal like all them dealer here in Glenn Lall said they sign, and the coalition sign and the PPP sign. Bonham would never sign a deal like that. They would have to come good with Bonham. And I ain't see nobody take no page out of his book. All they do is condemn me, but they don't sit down and study what he was doing to make the nation better. You understand me? And you see why you feel like I got say we want more Bin Laden in the world, because these shouldn't say we should get more Bin Laden. Thank you.
No, man. No. We don't need no more Bin Laden. Trust me. You cannot. You could never call. You can't take that.
Caller, good evening to you. Welcome to the Glenn Lall Show.
Oh, hi, good night.
Hi, good night
I've
to
got
you,
a
sir.
question for Mr. Glenn Lall.
Go right ahead.
Yes. Wednesday we're going to become 55 years independent from the British, right?
Yes.
If we were still under the British rule, our country would be better today or worse off today? Thank you.
No, honestly, it's a beautiful question. It's a beautiful question. Had we were we under British rule, we would have been worse off now, because they would have emptied it. They would have emptied it already, because they are also in the group emptying it right now, and they have no control over it. So imagine if they had control over it. So we would have never been better off. We would have been worse off.
That's a popular misconception that people have. They think that colonialism was good. Colonialism was not good for this country. It wasn't good for any of the other African countries, any other Caribbean countries. Even India, it just destroyed culture, put in a different political hierarchy, and fooled people into believing that the British were doing something good. They're doing what all these companies were doing before, taking what's not theirs, stealing it, impoverishing the country through all these bilateral and multilateral agreements, and then what happens is your resources are gone, you get no money, and the country stays underdeveloped. And it's a cycle.
Exactly.
It's a structural cycle, a systemic issue. So no, colonialism was not good.
Let's continue with
Thank
the
you.
callers. This caller, good evening to you. Let's go. All right. Caller, good evening to you. Let's take the other one. Caller, good evening to you. Hello.
Hello, this is Glenn.
Hi, good evening, sir. Yes, you are.
Mr. Lall, really like how you're trying to edify the nation on certain things. And but one problem we got, we have to stop seeing one another as a Afro-Guyanese or Indo-Guyanese. We got to start seeing one as Guyanese work together. All we got Afro and Guyanese, Afro and Indo-Guyanese. It right away we speaking of division. And you know what happened there? The politicians gonna love that. You ever telling you? And they're gonna get to do with the one. Because I remember now we fighting afternoon, PVP and you know them doing with the one full in the pocket while our children gotta fight for the public transportation, them going to with the 4x4 and all these kind of things. So we gotta start working together, keep banging this thing in the people's ears. You understand? We can't get foreigner coming to this country and trying our wealth. It is doing us no good. Just imagine if we get all we were supposed to get from this oil deal. Better roads, better salary, and all the things. You understand? Good night. You're doing a good job. Keep up the good work, Mr.
Thank you.
Caller, good evening. Welcome to the Lall Show. Caller, good evening.
You guys can text on the WhatsApp.
Caller, good
Send in
evening.
your message to. If you're not getting through on the line, you can.
Hello.
Hi, good evening to you, sir.
Hi. I had wanted to ask a question, but I think Mr. Glenn Lall touching it a little. I want to know these contracts, where it is lodged, where it is. And a next question that I would wanted to know is when the Canadian sold that gold mine to the Chinese, was the land included in that $200 and something million, or was just the gold factory, the equipment? Thank you.
All right. The Chinese bought the entire operation, lock, stock, and barrel. Right? They paid $238 million for the company and for the concession, the operation. Whether they made any other private deal for the equipment and machinery, we don't know. And of course, if they're selling their rights to that deal, it's only the deal that they really sell there, that 238. They would have had to get payment for their equipment and stuff like that separate. But we wouldn't know that. That would probably be private. And the other question you asked about where the contract is, well, according to everybody, they don't have the contract. The contract is at the office of the president, under the lock and keys, maybe of the president or the vice president. But I would like to get a copy of them all. That's how I only got the Aurora one that somebody mailed to me, and I'm thankful. I was hoping by now I would get the all in the mail. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm gonna get them. I got hope.
Yes.
Could you access the Information Act to request these sorts of contracts?
Yes, that's a nice question. She's asking if we can use the Freedom of Information Act to access these contracts. That department is non-functioning right now.
Yeah.
So who do you ask?
Wow.
And I think even if you go to them,
Yes.
right, they will tell you the confidentiality clause will prevent them
From releasing.
from releasing these contracts. I'm thinking about going to the court, but I have to get 2-3 lawyers to back me up, you know. So we can go to the court and tell the judge, no, this thing shouldn't be happening. This thing is our resources.
It's
So if you guys can help me call some lawyers tomorrow, let me see if we can fight it. And force them to bring it out. Because we cannot sit back idle and stay quiet and go to our bed in the night, sleeping, and we don't know what is inside those contracts. It is far worse, I am told. But, nobody wants to touch it.
Because look what's happened since they released the other contracts with this Exxon thing. They have to release them.
All right. The clock is ticking, but we have some questions here. It says, good night, Mr. Lall. What are some positive changes or corrections, if any, have you seen since this program began? And are any in the process of being corrected to benefit the citizens of Guyana?
Well, I am not looking to see changes, which I would like to see. I am not doing this program to gain as per se. I just want to educate the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Once you educate the nation, I am happy.
Yeah.
Okay? If I could see a man robbing you and I could tell you, hey, look, he's robbing you, I am good for that. You got to decide whether Glenn Lall telling you, save your pocket, you decide that. I'm not going to give kudos to myself for nothing. I just want to tell you that you're being robbed.
Okay.
You decide whether you want to continue being robbed.
Wouldn't you say one of the changes that you see from this program, that $30 flaring, because you brought it to the attention of the nation, Exxon backed down and they started to give us that money. Wouldn't you see?
Well, like I said, I don't want to give myself kudos. What I can say is that the Kaieteur News reported through that same lady, Miss Melinda Janke. She pointed it out to us and say that, hey, the contract specifically say that any fees coming from ExxonMobil is recoverable. And we carried that story. So we're there, we're getting slowly, things are gonna come, and and had Exxon came and say, well, okay, the $30 per cubic feet will be absorbed through them. But I'm not certain about that. That's just to make us feel good. They're going to find a way how to jit that out because they're in control. They could take a whole shipload that worth couple $1 billion. Who knows? Nobody checking what's going on out there. And our leaders not saying a word about these things. You know, these are the most important things, Mr. Jagdeo. These are the most important thing to check the wealth that is going out. And you're not hearing nothing about from Harmon, nothing from the coalition, nothing from the PPP, nothing from the AFC. Your wealth is being carted off by the boatloads and plane loads, and all these guys are simply quiet.
We made it easier with the oil. They can actually sail off with it.
You know, it irks you, man. It bothers my soul sometimes. You have a business and people just carrying it away. And you got your family not eating properly when the day comes. And everybody is silent. Everybody is silent. What's going on in this country, Guyana? What is going on in this country?
Yes, another question.
I have another question here. It says, good night to you. What is the cost to produce 1 barrel of oil in Guyana?
The cost for oil?
Yeah.
To produce it?
Yeah.
Oh. When they began talking during the years, from 2015 to now, they were saying, oh, Guyana has the sweetest crude on earth, which we do have. And it's cheap, and it's the sweetest, and it will be the cheapest to come up. You hear me? The cheapest to come up. Now we are told, we are not even told that, that it's right there actually with the world market price. So I was thinking like, hey, once it's sweet, it's like you got a sweet mango and it's cheap, it's gonna be like like half the price the world bringing up barrels for. But the price I'm hearing is like the same price what they're doing all over the world. So it's like you're getting ripped and ripped off all over. And our leaders, that's a beautiful question for Mr. Harmon and Jagdeo to answer. Yes. What is the cost to bring up our oil? In many countries, it's about $35, $40. We only supposed to be $20, but I'm told we only is in the 30s. And they're telling us, here this trick what they're telling us again. When Lisa 4 come, they're going to carry it down cheaper. And as soon as you start, you're going to go back to the same price. So they're only bringing up all these fancy stories to make you feel good, flowery things, and our leaders want us to fall for that. Jagdeo and Harmon wants me to fall for this thing. Man, guys, I gotta do better than this. I really gotta do better than this.
Yeah. I have one more question here for you. Is that can we do anything in our power to stop them from having confidentiality clauses?
Well, that's a beautiful question too.
Mhm.
But if they're the leaders, if they sit down and continue signing contracts and put in confidentiality clause,
Mhm.
because like I said, Brassington is back,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
and he's a king of confidentiality. And if they're stitching confidentiality clause, what can we do? Maybe we have to go to the court,
Mhm.
right? It's only the court can help us here, and maybe we might have to end up at Trinidad too.
Mhm.
Because when they appeal and they go on appeal, because they have been up this game for all the years, scheming we, the people, right? Keeping away information from us, the citizens who own these resources. We own these things. But the Guyanese people do not understand that. I keep hitting home with this thing. Guys, me and you own every drop of oil out there. It is our transported property. Every ounce of gold, manganese, bauxite, all of us own it. Whether you Indian, Amerindian, African, Chinese, whatever, we own it, not the leaders. And we got to band together as Guyanese
Mhm.
and stand up and fight all our leaders to make sure they don't continue to allow this nation to go broke so that we can live like the African people. Hundreds of millions of them living with 300 Guyana dollar a day. They don't even have running water in cities, many cities. Mhm. No fishes, no nothing.
Mr. Lall, isn't one of the reasons the leaders have the confidentiality clause is by doing this is how they get those brown paper bags?
Yeah, we don't want to get to that. We all know they're corrupt. We all know they're corrupt, man. But, man, what I want to say, I have grown to accept that governments corrupt all over the world. Politicians corrupt all over the world. But the money you are settling for, and you could get 50 times more than that, and the people of this country can get 50 times too. That's what I want you guys to understand. When you settle for crumbs, gravy, low-hanging fruits, you left the people of this country hungry. You need to understand what's your worth. If you're worth $100 billion, don't take on $200,000, man. Come on, don't do that. Don't settle for things like that. Settle for big money. And this country has enough money, big money, huge money, that can turn the country into Dubai. And have every citizen. We can make the people of this country salaries 3 times in 1 year in this country right now. 3 times. You understand that? But if you keep taking, or if you tie your hands and your feet to the people then Guyana is doomed. I hope you guys didn't tie your hand. I know you tie your fingers. I know that for sure. I tie your fingers. But you guys can get out there. You can come on the radio, come and let's chat, come and let's talk. All right? We took $138 million from the Chinese for the airport. That's a loan we have paying there. We don't know what interest rate we're paying until now. Mr. Jack Dave didn't tell us until now. David Patterson will come in, didn't tell us until now too. None of them talk about the interest rate. None of them say if we're paying or we're not paying that money until now. Soon, the Chinese might take over the airport. Because right now, only last night I saw that they're building a tunnel, a drive tunnel with tube from Beijing to California. They're connecting China to America. They said that the project will run them $200 billion American dollars. You know where that money coming from? Guyana. Is Guyana going to build the railway from Beijing to California? Yes. Yes. May you all have sweet dreams and good night. Thank you for listening, and may God bless all of you.